Hi everyone, welcome to UTV Gooner and our show, The Shooting Lone Star with Ram from the Austin Gooners. Hey bro, how are you?
Hey, what's up? I mean, man, I'm doing great. Really excited to get Premier League football back. Last weekend was not as exciting. I still watched a lot of like Italian football, a little bit of Spanish, La Liga or whatever, some Bundesliga action. But it's not the same. Like I don't follow it as close because I don't really have any teams. But just to get some soccer action, like I had to do that. And then another side note, before we get into the Arsenal or whatever, but Austin FC, in its second year in existence, we just clinched our first playoff spot on Wednesday. So the season, we got about three more games in the season, and then we got playoffs, which is the postseason tournament, if you will. Top seven teams on each side kind of play on a knockout round. So yeah, it's really exciting, man. So it's a lot going on around here, but really looking forward to Sunday, or at least even today we're getting some football today, some action, some tomorrow, but looking forward to Sunday bright and early, 6 a.m. Texas time to watch the Arsenal, man. I'm ready to go. It's been way too long.
Yeah, it feels like it's been so long, but really it's just over a week because we played last
Yeah,
Thursday night, but it feels like it's been like 2 weeks or so, because
yeah,
it's two games that were postponed, so it makes it feel longer, but it's actually in terms of days, it's only been 8 days like since we last played. And
yeah. You're right.
yeah, but yeah, I see what you mean. It does feel really long, and yeah, missed it. So looking forward to Sunday. Back to action in Premier League. Good test for us against Brentford. We know what it was like last season against them, so we want to be getting our revenge. It was a different set of circumstances back then. That was our first game of the season. We had some injuries, COVID issues. We weren't ready for that game, but we know we're in a much better situation now. We're ready for Brentford. I'm sure we're going to go there and show them. But yeah, before we talk about that game in more detail, let's talk about Arteta getting awarded the Premier League Manager of the Month for August. Well deserved. We are top of the table. Congratulations to Mikel Arteta.
Yeah, man. I mean, an amazing turnaround, and from August of last year. Um, he was on the hot seat, right? People were talking about let's sack Mikel Arteta. I was maybe starting to lean toward thinking that way as well. Like, oh, I'm a little worried. What's going to happen? It was not a hot start last year, but it just goes to show you the progress we've made. I think as a club, I think he as a manager has made a lot of progress in terms of just his in-game decision and just the way he's handled the adversity that we've come along with, and then also the players. The players really responded this season, and it's early, right? But we definitely it's a 180-degree spin from how it was last year, man, where we just kind of came out of the gate stumbling. Now, granted, we did have a lot of people out because of COVID and things like that, but even the backups weren't looking very good. But you know, we've made a lot of moves to improve the squad depth wise, and I think it's shown. Even when we've had a couple of players out here and there, we haven't really seen a dip in play overall. Like, right, everybody else kind of has raised their game a little bit. So um, I think, as Arteta said the last time he won it, it's a tribute not only to just him, but a tribute to the rest of the organization, and just everybody from top to bottom has really bought into what's going on. And I hope we've rested well enough this month, because October is going to be a tough one. So hopefully, there's still a lot of good feelings going around 60 days from now. So we'll see what happens. But credit to Arteta, man. I give him so much props. I've been a fan of his since we signed him, since his first interview. I loved his I guess his demeanor, and then also just the goals that he set. Really verbalizing what he wanted for this club, and it's showing. And I think that August is really was one of the best months I've ever been a fan But one of the best months for this club ever since I became a fan. So I would have voted for him. No question about it.
Yeah, it's really well deserved, and we've seen in that Amazon documentary how much passion he has for the club, the faith he has in the players, how much he loves his job. I'm confident he's going to become a really good manager long term. You can see he's learning. It is his first job. He's new to management, so he's going to get better and better. And he's learned from a master like Pep. So let's hope for many years of success and lots more of them trophies of getting manager of a month. And let's hope by the end of the season we're picking up a big trophy of some
Team
sort.
trophies. Yeah.
Yeah, team trophy of some sort, and it'll be a really successful season. Okay, so before we talk about the Brentford game, just wanted to talk about some of the action we have seen since we done last done our show. So there's no Premier League matches last week, but we have seen action in Europe. Unfortunately, we couldn't play our game, but all the other games like in the Champions League and Europa League did go ahead.
Hmm.
We saw some really good action, as always, in the Champions League. Saw Haaland score one amazing goal to get the winner for Man City. That was a really close game. Borussia Dortmund played really well, went ahead in that game, but Man City managed to come back. And that winner from Haaland, what a goal it was.
It was incredible, man. And I almost thought Dortmund was going to pull away with the victory, and he just, I mean, they got the equalizer, which was like, okay, like here we go, and then yeah, that incredible pass. I don't even know who it was from. I don't know if it was from Kevin De Bruyne or who exactly it was from. Almost doesn't even matter because it just needed to be in the vicinity, and he just headhunted that ball, and what a goal, man! I mean, I watched the replay like 100 times just because I'm like, it sucks. He has a Man City shirt on, right, and that's always going to put a damper on my excitement. But I've been watching him since Dortmund, right? Like he's one of the only reasons why I was watching Bundesliga for a long time, just to watch him play. He's an incredible player. A real shame that he's not going to play in the World Cup because Norway didn't make it. But he's a young player, and I don't know how many goals he's going to score. I hope we can hold him to a minimal amount of impact, but yeah, an incredible performance by him. Another couple performances I know that I wanted because I just pulled up like the list of all the games that went on. So we'll talk about like Sporting CP beat Tottenham like in the last 80 minutes. It was 0-0. It was exciting. It was an exciting game. I had it up. I was watching it or whatever, and I think at that point or before that game, somebody had pointed out that Sporting hadn't beaten a European or an English side at home in Champions League in like 10 years. So they just hadn't had a chance to play Tottenham yet because man, two goals in the last like almost back to back, like within 5 or 6 minutes, really sealed the deal. They were both incredible. Well, the first goal was like a corner, right? So that one was just like, okay, I mean, it sucks, right? But the second goal was just, against the run of play. You can just kind of see nobody on the defense doing anything really. And it was just that goal was just way too easy, and it was a very Spursy moment. And I was like, that's the Spurs that we all know about, and that's the Spurs that we're going to need to see moving forward. Um, the other one, Bayern Munich beating Barcelona, that's like well, that wasn't very surprising at all. They've had their number pretty easily. And I think Chelsea, I don't know if I need to find that Chelsea score, but I think Chelsea also drew and looked very, very underwhelming against whatever opponent they were playing. They're currently last place. I know it's only been 2 games and there's 4 more to go, but they're not looking very hot in Champions League. Um, so I'm sure they're a team that would have loved to play this weekend to just kind of get going, but it's good to see them not looking very good at all. Juventus is another one that's the one that kind of caught my eye too. They ended up losing to Benfica 2-1, not looking very hot overall. So I don't know, I mean, we're still seeing Madrid out there dominating people. Napoli followed up their win against Liverpool with like a 3-0 win against Rangers. So a lot of like this PSG, but three against some team from Israel. So a lot of like the same big names, but Chelsea's looking in trouble, and Tottenham, who knows what's up with them. But yeah, man, it's been. I mean, at least we had some Champions League action. So that was pretty fun this week. But like I said, ready to get going with the Premier League action starting today. You know,
Yeah, for sure. It's like always in the Champions League, see a lot of great action. Hopefully, we're going to be there soon.
yeah.
Really want to see us playing there. When you're watching it, it's like, oh, really wish we were there. It's been so long since we've been there, but hopefully, our time to be back in there is coming really soon, and it will be next season. So, okay, on to the Brentford game now. So, Mikel Arteta's press conference today, he didn't talk about the injury situation. He said we won't have an update till tomorrow, so we don't know exactly what's going on. There has been reports that Zinchenko unfortunately has got injured in training. We don't know the exact case with that, but there's also good news that Thomas Partey's back in full training as well now. So hopefully he's going to be available for the Brentford game. Arteta talking about Brentford and the challenges they pose. We know they are a good team. You know, they've done all right this season as well, done really well last season to stay up, had some good performances against the bigger teams at their ground, against Arsenal, against Chelsea as well. They lost that one, but they were really unlucky. All over Chelsea that game to lose it. So unlucky of them. They played well against like Liverpool as well at home. So it's going to be difficult at their ground, but we really need to go there, assert our authority. We got the better team last season. They caught us at a bad moment, but now we're in a much better moment. We're going to bounce back as well, as we know our last league game was unfortunately that loss to Man United, where we did play well, but unfortunately some mistakes cost us and we lost. So really important we get back to winning ways in this one.
Yeah, man, I remember last year's game was really some like it was one of those, yeah, you just wanted to forget about it as quickly as possible. We were missing a lot of players. And I'm looking at the starting lineup right now from that game, and we had Balogun up top and Martinelli, Smith Rowe in the middle, Pepe, who's no longer with us, or he's out on loan, but you figure he's kind of out of the picture at this point. We had Chambers playing right back, who's out. Ben White, who was newly signed, brand new. It was a rough night for everybody, but he definitely had a rough go. Pablo Mari was back there. Leno was at goal. Granit Xhaka, Lokonga. You would figure maybe if Party's healthy, that Thomas would get the start. But my point being, like, it was a completely different team, completely different circumstances. I think we're much more poised and much more, I guess, chomping at the bit, to borrow like a term. I don't know if they say that in England, but like that's a big American term. Like just really ready to just go, like have a go. And it's really unfortunate that we didn't that we had to stop playing for a few games because of the Queen passing or whatever. But I liked how we responded to the Manchester United loss. Just 4 days later by playing, in Europe. Um, so I think we're going to respond well on Sunday. I think we're ready. I think we have a much stronger team. I'm not too worried about Zinchenko possibly missing, just because we're going to have one game, and then it's the international break where we'll have 2 more weeks. The reports are saying that he's not going to join his team, Ukraine, to play in any of their games during those 2 weeks. So he's going to stick around in London, continue to rehab. It doesn't seem to be like that serious of an injury. Who knows if it's related to his earlier injury that kept him out of a couple of games. But like I said, we have the rotational pieces at this point, to not necessarily lose our shit over kind of something these minor injuries. And I think one of the big positives of having all these days off is we've been able to bring back, or we've allowed a lot of our players who have been hurt have been allowed to recover while also not missing as many games as they potentially would. And I think that's going to be important, especially leading into October, where we're going to have like 9 games in 30 calendar days. So, but yeah, anyway, back to Brentford. I think we're going to be ready to go. And I think it's going to be tough, right? Like, I mean, as you said, they played Chelsea hard there. Obviously, we know like the big the big surprise of the season so far is the 4-0 win against Manchester United. But with the way Manchester United have responded since that loss, you kind of think that that was sort of, in hindsight, it was sort of a fluke. Um, Now, obviously, you don't want Arsenal to go in there thinking that it's going to be easy, but I think we have a team that's not going to assume that. We have enough players who were on the squad last year who experienced that embarrassment that are and it's kind of this theme that we saw last year where every time we experience something, it's like, okay, well, that's our young team gaining experience. And so here's an opportunity to draw from that experience and look much better. I mean, it's a chance for revenge. It's a chance to stay at the top of the table, and I think we'll be able to take advantage of it pretty easily overall. Like I think it might be close early on, as it's been a couple weeks, or it's been about 10 days since both of these teams have gotten some game action, so it might not be the prettiest, you know, game starting out, but I think overall we have the stronger team, and I think we end up pulling away and winning pretty comfortably, I'll say.
Okay, what's your quick score prediction?
I'm gonna say 3-1. I think Tony is gonna get a goal. He is actually probably the one player that I'm really afraid of. He's really, really impressive. Um, and I've watched some Brentford action, and I think they really miss the influence that Ericsson had when he joined them. Not to say that they've seen a big drop off in form, but he was really important for them as a team, and I know they're missing that kind of organization from him and that leadership. So I think Tony gets a goal just because he's that good, and he's one of those players I think that would probably thrive at like a bigger club like Arsenal. Like he would look really good playing for us. So he's the kind of player that's going to thrive under the big lights. So I see him potentially scoring a goal, maybe two, but I think we play such a. I mean, we're aiming to play such a possession type attack that I don't think he's going to get very many opportunities, and I think we're going to be very poised going into that game, and like I said, pull it away and winning 3-1. I'll say. What about you? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm very confident. I think that we're going to be really refreshed now with that break. It's not ideal with a fixture pile up later down the line, having to play, 2 games extra later in the season to catch up. But it's given us that little chance to regroup, refresh. We had that defeat against Man United, as we said in our last Premier League game. So regrouping from that, we're going to be the word you use, it's used here as well, chomping at the bit. We do use that term as well. And
Okay, yeah.
I feel that it's good. The players going to be really wanting to go out and make a statement. It's the last game before the international break as well. And there's no more games in September, so it's a great chance for us to. It's early days, and it's not a big deal, you could say, to finish September top of the league, but it's still nice to go into the international break as the team that's top of the league, have the best results so far this season. And also, like I say, that factor of what happened to us there last season, want to get revenge. We want to show them that they're not on our level. We need to go out there and show that to them that we are levels above you. And I'm hoping we can just hammer them. I'm hoping for a comfortable, they might get a goal. So yeah, I'll go 4-1.
4-1.
Yeah.
I also will say this, man. Like I know it's not the final rosters and like for the World Cup, but if you look at the Brazil squad, none of our guys got picked. Um, Martinelli or Jesus or even Gabriel, like none of them got added to the squad. Now, granted, who knows? It's not, these World Cup rosters are not, or these National League rosters are not like all star, like, doesn't you're not entitled to a pick. But I do know that Gabriel Jesus wants to play for Brazil. Martinelli wants to as well. And I know this is, it's still warm ups and friendlies and whatnot. And for some squads are managed a little bit differently. So you could potentially say like, hey, maybe they didn't pick them because the coaches already know their place, and so they're picking other players to kind of just see how they respond. and they're still trying to decide, right? So maybe positions are still up in the air, but I would imagine something like that is going to spark something inside Gabriel Jesus and Martinelli and Gabriel to kind of say like, hey man, we feel a little bit slighted, a little bit disrespected. Um, we're going to turn up from now until World Cup time, until the World Cup rosters are announced. So I'm kind of hoping, Martinelli takes that as a sign of disrespect and just goes out there and bags a hat trick. Like that'd be pretty sweet, huh? Like, I mean, it could only benefit us. I mean, if our guys feel like they're disrespected, we'll take it out on Brentford and Tottenham and everybody else we're going to be playing in the next few weeks. So yeah, we'll see, man. I'm for that. Like, I mean, on one hand, I'm like, damn, like I feel bad for them, but on the other hand, I'm like, that's only going to mean that they're just going to be pissed off. So I hope I'm right on both fronts.
Yeah, and we know straight after the international break, it's that big game against Tottenham. So having them fresh,
Hmm.
that one's going to be very ideal for us. And as you say, as players, they're going to want to get to that World Cup squad. So they're going to be even more determined to prove a point. That's one strong Brazilian team if you can leave Gabriel Jesus out as a striker. Martinelli, you could say in his position, there's the likes of Neymar, a few others. He's very young still for
Yeah,
Martinelli. So Gabriel, I'm not sure about the centre backs Brazil have there, but again, they must have some really good centre backs. So they're leaving him out.
yeah.
It's a lot of competition. So yeah, let's hope that'll make them perform at an even higher level to try to get in that squad. And yeah, looking forward to really putting it to Brentford and getting a comfortable win. So this weekend, some other games have been cancelled. So there was going to be that big game between Chelsea and Liverpool. That's been postponed. Man United Leeds as well has been postponed. So there's a couple of other games that are involving some of our rivals that we can talk about. Starting with the early game on Saturday. So it's Wolverhampton versus Manchester City. Your thoughts on that one?
Uh, Wolverhampton Wolves plays very tough defensive type of football, very organized. I think they make it difficult for Manchester City, and I don't think they score 3, 4, 5 goals. I think if anything, it might be like a 2-1 win, very tight for Manchester City. But Wolves' problem is they can't score goals. Um, so I don't think they have enough firepower to beat City. So I think City ends up winning, which again puts pressure on us, which I think is a good thing. But yeah, I don't think Wolves ends up coming out with a victory, but it's going to be a lot closer and probably worth waking up at 6:30 in the morning for in the US. So yeah, 2-1 Man City.
Okay, and Tottenham are playing Leicester at home.
Uh Leicester, Leicester. I don't know how to feel about. Well, I do know how to feel about them. They're not very good at all. They're struggling. They're they got 1 point. I didn't realize how bad they were. Yeah, they're bottom of the league. I'm sure they play hard. I mean, hopefully Spurs end up doing something very Spursy and just blow it and end up losing this match, but I don't see it happening. I see them sadly winning handedly, like 2-0. I don't think they're dominating because Spurs just play very boring as well. And Leicester's going to try their ass off to try and do something. But I just don't think they're good enough to give them a run for their money. So yeah, Tottenham 2-0, as much as it pains me.
Yeah, as you're saying, Leicester, they've been really poor this season. Can't see
Really
them
bad.
doing anything. Hopefully they can. As we know, it's a competitive league. On any given day, any team's capable of beating one of the bigger teams or getting a draw. We saw that in the last game Man City played against Aston Villa. It wasn't expected for Villa to get a draw with it and they managed to. So let's hope Leicester can play really well and get a result there. Yeah, so that's all from us. Not so much to talk about this week as we didn't have any of our games to review. But as always, bro, appreciate your time.
My pleasure, man. And we'll come up with some stuff to talk about next week. I know, yeah, we are going to an international break, but um, yeah, hopefully we have a lot to talk about in terms of the game against Brentford and looking ahead towards Tottenham. It'll be a long break again. It's gonna be the worst September's ever, right, in terms of Premier League football. But we'll make it through. I guess we're gonna just be paid in full in October, right, with 9 fixtures in or 9 matches in 30 days, man. I think it's like at one point there's going to be like a game every 2 or 3 days or something like that. So hopefully the boys are resting up and use this opportunity to rest up, and the ones that have to play international, like, keeps them fresh. But hopefully they're not, no serious injuries. So knocking on wood for the next 2 weeks, man. But yeah, I'll talk with you next week, and we'll be chatting on the WhatsApp and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure. Look forward to it. Come on, Arsenal. Let's beat Brentford.
Let's go, boys. Come on.
So that's all from us. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share.
Boom.